Please welcome Jesse Kharbanda of the Hoosier Environmental Council, helping us all belong by taking on our environmental challenges and helping us to make a happier, better place to live in and to do business in. Jesse, welcome.
45 years ago, my parents came to America. They were not poor, they were not persecuted, they were inspired. They were inspired by a belief that America is truly compassionate, inclusive, and innovative. Great societies do not arise from nowhere, but are developed by inspiring, thoughtful, and determined choices. What choices do we now make when the soon-to-be head of our country's Environmental Protection Agency sued the agency that he now will run, not once, not twice, but 14 times? And when he sought to block first ever nationwide efforts to control toxic mercury and climate change driving pollution. The likely dismantling of key national environmental policies is just one example of how working class Americans will probably be greatly hurt by the very administration that describes themselves to be their champion. There is and will be a temptation to make certain choices in response to that kind of injustice, to be taken with anger, disgust, and sadness, or rather to shut down, depressed that nothing can be accomplished. But in our choice of anger or grief, we may, unknown to us, allow policies to be passed that places private interests above the public good because we are distracted from the truth that great societies do not arise from nowhere, but are developed by inspiring, thoughtful, and determined choices. Woo! One American society worthy of the best ideals of our nation must now emerge from inspiring, thoughtful, and determined choices. We need a society where drinking water is safe, and yet 100,000 Hoosiers have water pipes that contain lead. And the residents of one neighborhood in East Chicago, Indiana, are becoming refugees in their own community due to massive lead contamination. We need a society where our energy does no harm to others, yet there are stories here in Indiana of people living near coal mines and coal ash dumps or worn down by dust and blasting and rare illnesses. We need a society where our food places a light footprint on our air and water and is free of cruelty to animals. And yet there are many stories of rural Hoosiers who feel like prisoners in their own home, overwhelmed by the noxious odors of a manure dump upwind from them, and where millions of pigs and cows and chickens live in tight pens and cages literally their entire lives. Great societies do not arise from nowhere, but are developed by inspiring, thoughtful, and determined choices. What choices can you make? Meet your elected officials in person by going to their town hall meetings. Join a phone bank. Write a letter to your editor. Engage one of the countless Americans on the sidelines, jaded, cynical, and disempowered. Talk with someone from a totally different political viewpoint, religious upbringing, or different geographical background. All of these are powerful ways to amplify your voice 10 times, possibly 100 times. We can train you in all of that. All you need to go is to the Hoosier Environmental Council's Facebook page or find Amanda Shepard right here in the front of the crowd. We cannot get fazed by the challenges and injustices that may arise ahead. It was thanks to people like you that we were able to stop an effort to tie the hands of Indiana's environmental policy experts from doing their jobs. It was because of people like you that we prevented a measure in the legislature that would have granted constitutional rights to carry out activities that many would view as cruel and environmentally harmful. And it will be because of people like you that we will help those fellow Americans who suffer from pollution. It will be because of people like you that we will bring jobs to the future within clean energy and sustainable agriculture. And it will be people like you who will look beyond our lifetimes to those who have yet to occupy our planet. And it will be people like you who will carry on the courage of the abolitionists, suffragists, and civil rights activists who sacrificed so much for us. Great societies do not arise from nowhere, but are developed by inspiring, thoughtful, and determined choices. Let us make choices that are foresighted, compassionate, and brave. Thank you.